Oh, wow, that's exciting. All right. Hi, everybody. Hi, how's everyone doing? Good, good. Thank you guys for coming out here. I think we're going to start now. Some people are getting in, but I think we're just going to go ahead and start. But thank you so much for giving us your Thursday evening. And congratulations, you're amazing. This cycle, we went to 45 different high schools in the county, outside of the county, and did about 200 interviews. So it is such a big deal and such an awesome job that you guys are all here, that you're the 50 people that we're starting off MedEx Tier 1 with. So congratulations, it is really, really great. So we're gonna start the night off with a video about the program so you can get to know more about it. So, oh, good, it's my God. Sorry about this.
The MedEx program allows for a great place to learn about all of the different kinds of healthcare careers that are possible and really understand the breadth and depth of opportunities that are available in the hospital.
It's opened up my mind to a lot of different careers. For example, there's times where I was narrowing it down to 2, but going through MedEx, I've opened up my eyes to different kinds of healthcare careers.
MedEx has made me broaden my tunnel vision that I had when I came in here. I think MedEx has broadened that up for me because it's kind of said, no, let's look at some other options if you're same interest.
I get a real feel for what the different healthcare professionals did to impact the quality of care that the individual got here.
I got to see like 3 of the surgeries, all the surgeries they told me about what they were taking out. They did all their antiseptic technique and all this stuff, and they taught me exactly what to do, what they were doing. They were explaining it very well and thorough, and that was one of my favorite experiences.
Going into the NICU with and observing the respiratory therapist, that's probably the best because I got to see what she does every day. And then see like the neonatologists come in, and that just kind of solidified for me. That's what I want to go into.
Through MedEx, we got exposed to a lot of different people that can really help us down the line. Each doctor's experience is different. So we could ask them, oh, okay, so did you go straight to med school after college, or what did you do, or what advice you had for someone wanting to go to med school?
We actually got to work with the medical students a lot, and I really enjoyed it. They got to share their advice. They got to read over all of our applications. It was just really great to get to know them and kind of see what we're going towards.
This whole program is just to build relationships, and I can really see that everybody's just so open to help.
The biggest benefit of MedEx in general, I think, is seeing how we might learn something in the classroom one day, and then the very next day you can see this happening in the healthcare setting, in the hospital, in the clinic.
Overall, it all combines from the shadowing experiences, from the clinical cases that they gave us, and the workshops for AMCAS and personal statements and mock interviews. All together, it all prepare, I think, all of us more for whatever field we want to.
I've just gotten to interact with so many physicians that have just shown me that, yes, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I'm going to be able to make that kind of impact that I see them make.
Great. All right, I hope you like that video. Sorry that this side of the screen is not working. But now I would like to introduce the creator of MedEx, the best advisor one could definitely ever have. And I can say wholeheartedly, after watching him speak many times, that after every speech that I've seen, he leaves you feeling just so great, so inspired inside, and feeling that you can take on the entire world. So without further ado, here is Mr. Al Squire, the director of our program and also known as Uncle Al.
Applaud for yourself. You have done an amazing thing to be here today. So please give yourselves a hand. So we began this journey this past fall, and applications opened up in October. And in January, we found that we had over 600 applicants for the MedEx Academy. We're going to accept 160 students this summer. Quite different from when we began. In 2010, we had 12 students representing 2 high schools. 11 students came from Carolina Academy because they were our pilot school, and 1 student who wouldn't accept no from Southside High School. Her situation was, when I started with GHS, one of the things I brought back to GHS was the GHS Health Careers Club. And she was with me in 2008. And when I left in 2010 to begin to build this thing we call the MedEx Academy, she said, "You're not leaving me." And she came with me. You'll find that her name is Kelsey Williams, and she's currently an M1 student in this med school today. But if I showed you her video in 2008, she wasn't certain that that was going to be her future. In fact, she wasn't even sure if she was capable of even getting into med school, let alone becoming a physician down the road. In fact, she had lots of questions about herself. And that was great, because a lot of students have questions about themselves. This is one of those places where we want to help you get answers. What you're going to find is that this is not a program. Although the program is used to be the excuse for building a relationship. So when you're here this summer, we will try our best over the 4 weeks that you are here to prove to you that we want a relationship with you. So one of the neat things about being a Tier 1 participant is that as long as you perform and meet the performance criteria for every tier, you are automatically accepted into those next tier. So you never have to interview again to get into MedEx Academy. You are the most fortunate because you're in the Tier 1 program, and you've worked hard to get here, and you're about to be rewarded many times over, because it's more than just a program. You'll find that as you change in your journey and you move forward, that you're going to need certain resources and certain mentors, and they all come into play in your journey as you make your move, as you grow in your profession. Over 200 individuals are responsible for the delivery of the MedEx Academy. I'm just a representative. I'm just a spokesperson who stands before you and say, on behalf of all those individuals, we are thankful that you give us the opportunity to serve. Because that's what it is. It's our service to you. You're now all patients in our program. In fact, we're going to treat you as patients in our program. In fact, you'll hear more details about that later. But understand that you will be a patient, which means that we're going to do things to you. We're going to poke you. We're going to stick you. We're going to collect samples from you. You'll hear more about that later. Well, what we want you to understand is that this journey began in 2008, and it was by Dr. Brenda Timms, who is our Vice President academic. She convened about 40 different individuals together, individuals representing different walks of life within our system, within our school district, and within our city. And she asked the question, what does the workforce look like in the year 2025? So we went out to find the answer. And when we came back, we were devastated by what we learned. We learned that the shortages we could anticipate were very dramatic. We learned that South Carolina was ranked in the highest of states was for the shortage of physicians to come. In fact, we were ranked 43rd in the country if you measure physician to population ratio, which is not a good number. We also saw that nursing and EMT and all these other occupations had just as much of an extreme shortage. And then we realized that there were not enough students currently in school to fulfill the needs that we would have in our state of South Carolina. We also noticed that if you looked at our census scores, that we were growing in population. And that in itself was affecting the ratio of care providers to patients. And if you looked at the rate of physicians who were retiring and other occupations who were retiring, we were not going to keep up pace. And rather than try to fight for a few individuals, we had the idea that we would grow our own. And that was the birth of MedEx Academy. We had a national search. And on October 10th, I stepped into the role as director of MedEx, and I met with Dr. Brenda Timms, and I asked her, who's coming to MedEx? She says, I don't know. I said, so when they come, what will they do? She said, I don't know, but they'll be here this year. So you probably need to get to work, and I did. Now, to give you an idea of what growth looks like, in 2010, there were 12 individuals we call the charter class, which you'll get to see a picture of later. And they would join me in a van, and we would drive around the system to see things. You don't have to do that. We're not piling you in a van. You're going to have plenty of experiences. But back then, it was Monday through Thursday. And Fridays, we were still trying to figure out what we were going to do the next week. We have grown so much since then. In fact, now that we have grown in Tier 1, we had the high school program of 12. In 2011, we started our first undergraduate program with our pilot partner at Furman University. In 2012, we started our undergraduate with Furman and Clemson in our expansion for Tier 2 and 3. But now we've had over 381 students who've participated in MedEx Academy. If we talked about the med school didn't exist in 2010. In fact, we hadn't even planned to have a med school back then. But because of the success of MedEx and because of the leadership of so many people who come before me, we had the vision of a med school and we pursued application for that med school. You are now in the building that houses the med school. And you are now going to have most of your experience as part of the med school, in addition to your exposure to the rest of our system. We consider the whole GHS system, the campuses we're part of, not only the main campus, but the outer campuses, our classroom. And we want you to be part of that classroom. We also want you to understand that this is a system commitment. You're going to be known in this system. You will represent this program, and everybody will know that you're here. In fact, most of the system can't wait to see you. And when you have your signature jackets on, they'll already know who you are. And they'll be looking out for you. And they'll be there to assist you. Even when you go to lunch, people will be there to assist you in every way because they know who you are. So our program, as far as MedEx Academy, we developed this thing called our blueprint of how we will grow our workforce. And if you notice, it says it starts in kindergarten. We actually have programs as a system that starts in kindergarten. We have children advocates and children support systems in all the kindergarten schools throughout this region. We have programs like Safety Patrol that we help facilitate in all our schools. So we're not asking students as kindergarten, do you want to be a doctor? But we're important to make sure that they're getting exposure to the resources that they need so they can grow as well as be prepared for the future that they have. And as we go from kindergarten to middle school, we have what we call our Dream Connectors program, which is a program that's intentional on targeting middle age school or middle students who are planning to make a career cluster decision. South Carolina, we have students in 7th and 8th grade that pick a career cluster. It's pretty amazing that we do that. I'm not originally from South Carolina. I'm actually from Chicago. You probably picked that up. But here's what you'll notice, that we actually want students to have those exposures. Then we have a health career club. And if you see in the center of that is the MedEx Academy, which is where we first have our intentional interface of being able to meet students where they are and take them where they need to go. So a lot of you have already decided what you think your career should be. And I like the idea that you're planning that way. But you're going to be convincing us many times over, validating your decision. I recently audited the system here, and we have 1,700 plus careers that are employed at GHS. What that means is there's probably a few jobs that you don't know. Because when we ask you the question, what do you want to be, you tend to choose from a number of jobs that you're aware of. The problem is there are so many more choices that you're not aware of. And we don't think it's a fair question to answer, what do you want to be? So we ask a different question. We ask, what do you love? What do you enjoy? What do you enjoy doing that doesn't feel like work? What do you like spending your time in? And if you say to me, I love music, then I can show you careers in healthcare for people who have a passion for music. And you'll be amazed that the choices go from music therapy to surgery. And there's a whole lot of jobs in between. In fact, a third of our physicians self-identified themselves as musicians. It's amazing how the mind works. And if we were to ask that question and you say, what do I enjoy? You will find that you have a list of careers that you probably didn't think about that would be an ideal career for you if you only did. So our goal for the summer is to show you as many jobs as possible. And the way we'll do that is through direct observation. So you'll be cleared to go behind the scenes and see things that most students would not be allowed to see. You'll also spend time in our virtual realities, our simulations, our cinematics, our hands-on experiences in our classroom, so that you have as much exposure to different clusters of careers than you've ever had before. Chances are you'll be more confused by the end of the summer because you'll be excited about lots of things. But we want you to be that way because we want you to know the possibilities that are out there. So these 12 students began the journey for us, and you are now following in their footsteps. And the amazing thing is we still know these students. We still have a relationship with these students. We still work with these students. So I want you to understand that it's not a program limited by time, but a relationship expanded by need and necessity for us to serve one another. You'll find that as we have grown, that MedEx Academy has switched from being just a program to now being led by students and being supported by students and also being ran by students. And we're assisting them in their endeavors to do that. There are lots of components. I'm going to have our students share what those components are. So my mom was very special to me, and I say she's very special because she was one of my original teachers, my parents. And I give lots of credit to my parents. My mom taught me something before she passed, and what she taught me was this: angels are all around us, and sometimes we have to be angels to each other. So in order for me to do this program well, I have enlisted a number of angels to help us. So if you will, please give a warm applause as the angels take over.
So some of the partners that we have with MedEx are Clemson, Furman, and University of South Carolina, with Greenville Technical College and Greenville County School District. So without these people, we could definitely not move forward, and we really need them throughout the time here. And then, so this is just introducing the Health Sciences Education Building, which we are in now. This is the medical school, and this is going to be our headquarters for the summer, for your entire 4 weeks here. So in this building, we'll be here in the lecture hall and the learning studio. Your first day, you'll get a full-on tour of the entire facility with your badge. You'll all get badges, and that'll give you access to the entire school 24/7. If you want to study, you guys hopefully don't have anything to study for, but I knew during Tier 4 last summer, I was studying for the MCAT every single day. So I was in this building till midnight all my nights. So, but still, it was great because a lot of other friends in Tier 4 did that with me. So it's a great building, a great facility, but you don't have to stay here the entire time. We let you roam around the hospital some, so that's really nice. In Tier 1, you will get pharmacy tours, therapy tours, pathology tours, and a tour of the Roger C. Pease Rehabilitation Hospital, in which you get to see different types of therapies for outpatients. So. And you'll also get to go to the, you'll get free membership to the GHS Life Center. So you can go and work out with your friends and it'll be great. We'll all be healthy together this summer, hopefully. And you also get to go to the Patewood Medical Campus, which is for CVT training, which is cardiovascular training. And we have some students that are part of the CVT program that help us throughout that way. And you really get to operate on your peers and see like if your carotid artery and your jugular artery and everything are, you know, functioning well, and if your heart is functioning well. So it's a really cool, fun experience. Those are the places that you get to see. And now I'm just gonna introduce the different tiers. So through going through the 5 years that we've had this program, we've seen that the 4 tiers are just a great way of transitioning into one another. They're a stepping stone from tier 1 to tier 4. So tier 1 is for rising seniors in high school as yourself, and that involves a lot of just BLS training, CVT training that we talked about. You also get to go to the simulation labs at the medical school where you can learn how to wear like a sterile gowning and also IV insertion. So it's a lot of fun. And with tier 2, that's rising sophomores in college. And you get to learn more about medical ethics and really get a lot of academic advising hours. So in tier 1, we give you a range, a scope of those 1,700 jobs here at GHS. But in tier 2, you'll get more one-on-one advising, so you can really figure out what you love to do. And then tier 3, you know what you want to do, but there's always a test, always some preparation course that you have to take before you can go on to the health professional school. So in tier 3, we provide free Kaplan course where you can learn how to, you know, take the MCAT, take the GMAT, take the GRE if you want to go into grad school, so anything like that. And you also get bibliotherapy sessions in tier 3, which are really nice and can build up your bedside manner. And then in tier 4 is, it's mostly geared towards right now people who want to go into medical school. So we call it our mini medical school experience. And it's a lot of anatomy and physiology lectures from rising M2 students in our medical school. And so you get to learn about that. You get to go to our cadaver lab that's on the top floor and actually get to dissect and learn a lot about the human anatomy, which is amazing. So great. And you also get interview prep. You get your medical school application prep from medical students, from advisors at the school. So it's just a great, altogether great program that you can, you know, as tier 1, go through all the tiers and it'll be an awesome time. And so now we're gonna have Haley Stockton come up. This is your tier 1 specific intern, and she'll tell you more about tier 1. Thank you.
Hey guys, like she said, my name is Haley Stockton, and I did tier 1 last summer, so I'm very familiar with the seats you're sitting in right now. Like I said, I did tier 1 last summer, and I fell in love with the MedEx Academy. We'll tell you time and time again, it is not a program, it is a relationship. I fell in love with it, and so I decided to come on board as an intern like Hope and Misha this year, so I'm really excited that I get to be an intern for you guys. Throughout MedEx, we want you to be well-rounded students. We want to not just have you sitting in classrooms and learning like the traditional style. So we have you experience all of these things to get the full experience of MedEx Academy. First, we want you to experience being a patient, like Mr. Squire was saying. We're going to poke you and prod you. A part of that is the health risk assessment, which you get to do test blood glucose levels, cholesterol, that kind of stuff. They do draw blood, so you get to know how it feels to be a patient. The next thing is you get to, Misha mentioned the Life Center, you get to go work out. Who likes to exercise? Anyone? Yeah? Awesome. All right. So the Life Center is really fun to do that. It's a really nice gym. You get to go over there. It's an indoor track, a pool. We have actually exercise classes embedded in the program. In the video, you might have saw people stretching and doing yoga. You have yoga classes, stress reduction techniques, cycling classes that really gets your heart racing. It's definitely a group bonding experience if you're not good at exercise like me. You get to laugh with each other and just kind of struggle along. The next thing we want you to experience is as a clinician. You guys are in this program to see what it's like to be a doctor or a nurse or anything that you want to be, and so we want you guys to have experience in that. Another thing that Misha mentioned was the Cvt scanning. In that, you get to be a clinician by going over to the Patewood campus, and you actually get to get experience being scanned and actually scanning the patient. It's kind of like an ultrasound over the entire body. You do your carotid artery, you do your leg. It's really cool. I didn't know I'd be interested in that kind of thing until I saw it. The next thing we want you guys to experience is as researchers. We know going into college, a lot of med schools like to see that you do research programs, and so it's really good to be taught how to be a good presenter and go through the research process. So we actually have the Tier 3 students come in and teach you guys how to research. It's like an ethical presentation, and it's actually really, really interesting and very helpful. You get to present to doctors here, people on the medical staff at the med school. So it's kind of intimidating, but if you've never done public speaking, it's really good to get your jitters out right now. And so instead of going into college and never having to experience a presentation. As applicants, we like to show you the full range of job trends. Like Mr. Spire was saying, we want to know what the workforce in healthcare looks like in 2020. Well, we want you guys to experience that too. We want you to know who's going where and how many doctors we have. If you want to do that, then it's great, because if we have a shortage, then we really need doctors in South Carolina. As volunteers, we want you guys to go out into the community. GHS is all about giving back to Greenville. So we worked with homeless populations. We do a poverty simulation, which was one of my favorite experiences of the MedEx Academy. You get to go in with all of your tier mates, and you're assigned roles. I was like a daughter, and you get assigned specific incomes and stuff like that, and you have to learn how to survive for an entire month. It's like a 4-hour thing. You go in there and you have to like buy your meals, and it's really interesting because a lot of people turn out to be criminals, and like they just were homeless, and it was really interesting to see the poverty situation in Greenville. Lastly, we'd like to see you as students. Obviously, you're growing up, you're going to college soon, after your senior year, obviously. We like you guys to experience what the classroom setting looks like. So we have a lot of med students coming in, teaching you what they learned, how their experience was. You can ask them as many questions as you want. You get to go throughout the building. If you see a doctor or any kind of med student, they would be glad to answer any questions you have. So it really is an amazing program to make connections like that. All right, so onboarding information to start MedEx Academy. You have to have certain clearance stuff to get into MedEx and be a part of the program. Like we said, we keep flashing around these little snazzy little badges here. It gets you access into the hospital in places that you wouldn't be able to go to as a normal patient. My Clinical Exchange is something that it's a system where we hold all the database for students. We do modules and stuff before you have to go into MedEx. But you guys will receive emails in the weeks before MedEx on how to do all that kind of stuff and all the information you're going to have to fill out for that. Later on, you're going to get an email also. We need a badge picture, your pretty face on there. And then we're going to have clearance forms on there. You have to do CVT, you have to sign a bunch of stuff. And then immunizations. I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. You have to get like TB tested and hepatitis and stuff like that. It's usually stuff that you've already had when you're a baby, except maybe not the TB test. So just keep a heads up for that. All right, some of the key logistics, things that you guys need to know for MedEx. Parking, it's super confusing. Anyone have trouble getting here? I know it's kind of confusing campus. Yeah. All right, so mainly during MedEx, you'll get more emails about this later. You're going to park in North Parking, which is kind of over to the side. And then later on, you might get to park in Employee Services parking lot. The Canvas electronic portfolio is something we have during MedEx for the students to reflect on their experiences and do daily journals and stuff like that. And it's a way to communicate also with your tier mates. So it's in there, and we always put the presentations when speakers come in, so you can always have that as a resource to look at. The t-shirt sizes, we're going to have t-shirts. We're in the process of designing those right now. You get awesome MedEx t-shirts, so you can go out and sponsor MedEx to Greenville and talk about how awesome it was. And then like we said earlier, we want people to know who you are. So these jackets right here, you'll try on afterwards and see your size. But you wear those every day. It's tier 1. We know it's you. It's awesome. They're super awesome. They're kind of like doctor coats. I don't know, I like to think of that way. But yeah, so those are some of the things you need to know. I'm super excited about being an intern for you guys. Who's excited for the MedEx program? Yeah, awesome. Well, I'll hand it over to Hope then.
Hi, everybody. I think I've met most of you. If not, I've definitely communicated with you through email. And so it's good to see all of your faces. It's crazy because we've seen your names on paper for 5 months now or so, and so we're really excited to have our group for this summer. But let's see, we have some perks going into MedEx. About 3 of you raised your hand for liking to exercise, so you're really excited about the Life Center membership. You can have the group classes like Haley and Misha were talking about. We can we do our health risk assessment things over there, and so it's really neat to be able to go and de-stress and go have some fun. They also have a pool, a track, all that kind of stuff. You get a meal plan. So how many of you guys like to eat? That was significantly more than the exercise. Well, whenever you get a badge, you'll be able to have, well, you will have money loaded on it. And so whenever you go over to the main hospital, there's a cafeteria, and you'll have Chick-fil-A, Subway, Au Bon Pain, and then the normal cafeteria. And so you'll be able to scan your card and get money and get food. And so that's always nice. And you can also get coffee and stuff at the cafe that's right here. You will also get a stipend at the end of the summer, and so they're working on how much it is. I don't know, and so a bunch of people have been asking. I'm not sure, but it's really, really nice. We don't want anyone to not be able to participate because some people have to work summer jobs and save up money and stuff like that, and so we really want to have you out here. Dress code. So gentlemen, you guys are going to be wearing khakis or slacks and a collared shirt, and so they're called polos. At the college thing, I completely messed it up. You can wear polos, you can wear the button downs, all of that kind of stuff tucked in. You have to wear closed-toed shoes, and don't wear any cologne because some people will have allergies, and a lot of times you're in a room and you don't want to be stuck in a room with somebody smelling crazy. But for the ladies, you can wear the slacks as well, or appropriate length skirt or a dress. We can't really tell you, it has to touch your knees, all of that, but just make sure it's long enough to cover everything, And I think a good thing, somebody once told me that if you can't walk up a flight of stairs without worrying if somebody can see up your skirt, then that's probably a little bit too short. And so you're going to be meeting a lot of people from the admissions committee. You're going to be meeting a lot of doctors, a lot of clinicians, and so you want to have a good impression. You don't want them to leave thinking, oh my gosh, what were they wearing? But no excessive jewelry, don't do any low-cut tops, make sure everything is kept in, and also no perfume. But, yeah, like we've said a million times, it's not a program, it's a relationship. I know that with my tier, I did tier 4 last summer, and we still keep in contact. We have a group message going on, we still hang out, and it's really nice because it's an interesting time because everyone's graduating from college. You guys will be graduating from high school, and it'll be neat to see where everyone ends up. It's really exciting, celebrating everybody's victories, when they get into the school that they really want to go to, and helping each other out, editing each other's applications and personal statements. And so you'll meet some of your best friends, I'm sure, here at MedEx, and that's really exciting to think about. At the end of the summer, you might have a whole new family. But another thing is with Mr. Squire and all the people who pour into us, you're going to have so many people here that want to bend over backwards to help you. And at any point, I know that I can call Mr. Squire and say, hey, I'm going through this, I need help with this, and he'll be there to help me no matter what. And so that doesn't just happen during the summer, it'll continue on, for the rest of your life, I guess. I don't know, at least a year, right? But, so your intern team, so there's going to be a time where you'll overlap with tier 3, but Tori and Cheryl will be tier 3. You might see them wandering around. They're always a resource for you. Misha and I will be around all summer, and so you'll get to see us a lot. But your tier 1 interns are Haley, which you have just heard from, and Alexis Foster, who actually did tier 4 with us last summer, who is going to be an awesome resource. And it's really, really great because Alexis is in college and she has been through all that, and you can kind of use her as a resource. But Haley is 1 year ahead of you, and so it's been 5 years since I've had to apply for scholarships or apply to college and do all of that stuff. And so whenever you have these questions, Haley has just gone through it, and she's going to Clemson next year. Clemson, and so it'll just be a nice resource from a couple of different people in different walks of life. But also, has anybody gone to a drive game lately? Anybody? I think they just recently started, so I don't know why you wouldn't have. But this Wednesday, we're partnering with the Greenville Drive, and we will be putting on a GHS Health Careers Night. And so I would really, really highly recommend you all come. It's really exciting. There's going to be a picnic beforehand at 6 o'clock, and there'll be a bunch of clinicians, a bunch of physicians there to talk to you, hang out. It'll probably be a bunch of people you'll meet at MedEx, and so you can meet some people that way. And it'll just be really nice. There'll be some MedEx alumni coming, and I know that we're really pushing for MedEx to show up. So if you guys are free, we would highly, highly recommend you be there. But I think that's about it for me. I think Mr. Squire is going to come up and close this out. But as an additional thing, I forgot, I came in late. But afterward, we're going to have you try on a jacket. And so if you'll stay and chit chat and line up, we'll kind of record all of your stuff so we can get them ordered for you. Thanks.
So when we started MedEx, we didn't have promises. We were still trying to learn what the program could engage. And we found that it was much more than the program. We found that it was actually, in some ways, our mission. Our mission as a system is to heal compassionately and to improve constantly and teach innovatively. And so we try to incorporate all those components here. But as those 12 students in 2010 went in their journey, we saw that they confronted many obstacles and many challenges. And we developed ourselves to answer to their calls of needs. And those became the promises. So here's what we now do. These are the promises that validates what our program does. These are the promises that guides our decision making and helps us to decide what it is we engage in and what it is we do. If you want to know what do I do when I come to work, I look to the promises to figure out where I can best serve you as students and also as parents. Because the first promise is to our parents. That's our first promise. As parents, we promise to be your partner. And as your partner, we promise to help your child become financially independent and get out of your house. Yeah! Let's do that! We have 100% support from parents. It was never the plan to go to school for 4 years and come back and live at home. That was never the plan. Now, don't get us wrong. It doesn't mean we don't love you. We just want to love you from a little distance. That's it, all right? So that's our commitment. And we leverage that because now we have force in our unity to make sure that you get what you need at home and away from home. That's our promise. Our second promise is actually to our educators. We now have 45 high schools tied to MedEx Academy and 45 colleges and universities. We are very much a part of our school system. In fact, in Greenville County, MedEx Academy can account for part of the credits that you can earn towards your degree. And the school district evaluates our program every year, and based on your program that you're in your particular school, they can award so many credits towards your degree. At the undergraduate level, we actually have Furman University as a partner that creates an alternative transcript that any student at any university or college can take and present to their school to receive credit because it's documenting what they did in MedEx Academy. So we are partners with our educators, and therefore we have our second promise. As their partners, we promise to help their students' retention rate, graduation rate, and success rate of their schools as part of MedEx Academy. Our third promise is to our employees. We want to make sure that the next generation is ready and competent and able to work. So we promise our employees to make sure that when it's time for you to enter the workforce, that you are competitive, you are competent, and able to work. Our fourth promise is to our communities. We want to make sure, as their partner, that we provide for them resources in the way of you being able to add value to your community in terms of service, contribution, and your success as you move into the workforce. But our fifth promise is probably the one that drives us the most, and that is to our students. We are your partner. And as your partner, we promise to help you find a career that you love and a job that you never had. That's the MedEx Academy. So here's a number that you need to have. Write it down or put it in your phones. 864-918-5800. 3667. 864-918-3667. What's the phone? 864-918-3667. That brings this phone right here. I've given my number to over 25,000 people in my career. I don't change my number. It works. It works for you. You can text me, you can email me, you can call me, you can hang out with me, you can Skype with me, you can go to breakfast with me, you can go to dinner with me, you can go to lunch with me. When you go traveling, you can be on the computer with me. I'm telling you that it's not hard to find. If we need to talk, it doesn't matter who initiates the conversation, we'll talk. And it's not just me, but the people who stand behind me. We will prove to you that we want this relationship. We work so hard to find you that we're not willing to just lose you. This is not about a program. You will have numerous challenges as you move forward, many that don't occur in the classroom. In the 5-year period of time, we have had students who have faced obstacles that would have stopped them or stopped them from pursuing their dreams. And for some of those students who disconnected, they were challenged by those obstacles. But those who stayed had a better chance because we stayed with them. We have had students who've gone homeless. In 2011, I had a student who was invited to a night just like this. And on the morning before that evening session, she called me and said, I cannot do the MedEx Academy. And I said, why not? She said, because I'm pregnant. I said, oh, so why can't you do the MedEx Academy? She said, because I'm pregnant. I said, oh, so why can't you do the MedEx Academy? She said, because I'm pregnant. I said, girl, you need MedEx more than anybody. How you gonna raise a baby without a career? I said, you and your mama need to come to MedEx tonight. And when they came to MedEx, I said, whatever the doctor says you need to do, you need to do. But you don't get to leave us like that just because you had a challenge. It just means we now need to compensate for some more things as we move forward in our journey. She had a healthy baby boy. She graduated high school early. She joined Greenville Tech nursing program and is now currently in the 4-year program at Clemson. She will be in our nurse extern program, which is part of MedEx Academy this summer. It's a 12-week program, and she's already got employment lined up when she graduates with GHS. She's gonna be fine. But maybe it's not that extreme. You know, sometimes life happens. Sometimes decisions are made. Sometimes people change their minds. It's not our role to judge, it's our role to help. And maybe the path isn't 4 straight years. We've had students who fell in love and it changed their path. We've had students fall out of love and it definitely changed their path. Our goal is to be together. That's our goal. The goal of MedEx is that if we're in that promise we talked about, you're not going to be in your career at the end of this summer. And if you are in your career choice at the end of the summer, you probably want to raise the bar a little bit. We got some more hopes and aspirations that we can dream about and go after. And we need to do that. But we are ready for you. We are prepared for you. And we are excited for you. Because we know that this is the beginning of a long relationship together. So let me take the opportunity to again welcome you and congratulate you to MedEx Academy. You're now part of the family. Thanks.
If you guys have any questions, you can definitely ask them now, or we can answer them individually, however you would like. But we'll probably have a line right by the jacket.